Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Broken Sword 5, the Serpent's Curse. So, it's been another long time. We find Hobbs dead, we found several other characters dead. And
It was a still life.
desperately looked at the achievements. I looked at...
really strange.
It's an abstract, George.
Interesting.
Of course it is.
Just trying to figure out what's going on here. We, by every metric, are only halfway through with this game. And yet, it feels like we have been playing for way more than 10 hours at this point.
That painting would look pretty good back in the office.
I think that's probably not
What do you
true.
think of this portrait?
It looks familiar. Who is it?
I can't put my finger on it.
It's that famous painter.
It was another fabulous painting.
Hmm.
Ooh, this one's a bit dull, don't you think?
It's supposed to be still life, George.
What's funny is there are some copyright claims that people try to make for famous old paintings. I don't know how they get away with it, but they certainly seem to try to do it sometimes.
Beautiful scene.
I kind of wish we could
Come
zoom in
George.
on all of
We need
these.
to get going.
Another Hobbs masterpiece.
You should
I'm
be
not a big
taking
fan of
these.
still
These are probably worth
An acquired
something.
taste, perhaps.
The skylight was slightly ajar.
Like replicas. You just sell them as replicas instead of the
Whoever did this was
originals.
a professional. We need to be careful.
Take
Dead man's
mints.
No law against taking them.
You have no shame, George.
So we'll look at
Hobbs had
Hobbs.
been strangled.
He'd been strangled. And we can't take his shoes. It doesn't seem like there's anything else here.
The skylight was leaking. Hobbs had been using the bucket to catch the water.
So we have mints and cola. They put them together and mix them
I
together.
dropped the mints into the cola and quickly tightened the cap again.
So now we have a trembling bottle. Why did we need to do that? I have no idea. Alright, the point here is to find La Malediction
Hobbs probably spent most of his time on there.
and then get out of here. We know from the hint that it's behind her behind.
Strange.
Bijou's behind.
Hey, Nico, come and take a look at this. This painting. There's something familiar about it.
It's a woman's buttocks, George.
I know that, but I recognize him. Know what? I think it's Bijou.
I don't want to know how you know that, George. But didn't she say the painting was hidden behind her behind?
Exactly.
So maybe.
Damn it, it's screwed into the wall.
So screwed into the wall. Crowbar that thing off. That fell rather easily.
La Maledizione.
We found it!
Amazing.
You're sure it's the real thing?
Well,
Finally.
I'm no expert, but yeah, it must be.
Look! In the middle!
It's the same face that Hobbs drew on his sketch, and the same symbol cut into his forehead.
He must have uncovered it when he was cleaning the painting.
What, this,
But I
the
wonder
symbol's
why a
cut
tree
into
was
his forehead?
originally painted over it.
Like Simeon said, hidden Gnostic secrets. We've got the painting, Nico, but there's gotta be more to find in here.
You're right. Once the police are involved, we won't get another chance.
We need to be quick. Whoever killed Hobbs may come back.
Let's look at Hobbs again.
Whoever did this was a professional. We need to be careful.
There's nothing carved in
Hobbs
his
got
foot.
him way over his head and paid the price.
Maybe I misunderstood that sentence.
Father Simeon had said La Malediccio was a map. It was the strangest map I'd ever seen.
So this is the third game where I've had a painting of some sort. And let's see. This is probably the solution to several puzzles. We have a human tower.
It was a tower of tormented souls. They looked like the damned.
And then over here we have the human tower of the heretical saints.
It was some kind of medieval human pyramid.
And here we have a dog-headed man, which probably is the Dominicans.
It was the figure of a priest, but with a dog's head. The figure was pointing up at a ring above him.
So what's this
Inside
building?
the ring was what looked like an affluent town.
Interesting. We have a young man with a blue light.
The youthful figure held a glowing blue orb in his hand.
And see, we had blue, green, and red. And so they're saying this is green, although this looks more yellow to me. Priest.
The priest appeared to have a padlock through his mouth. He was pointing down to the ring below him. There was a tower within the ring. Maybe it indicated a place? In the clouds, a bearded figure looked out over the landscape. An ethereal figure was emerging from the clouds.
And then we've got this castle.
Inside the ring was a castle gate. I had no idea what it signified.
And we have
Within
a building.
the ring, there were a number of houses. It was a village or a small town.
And then we have this scarred face.
A scarred face stared back at me from within the Ouroboros. Hobbs must have uncovered the image when he was restoring the painting. But what did it mean? And what was its link to the Tabula Veritatis? A large Ouroboros dominated the center of the painting. Before he was killed, Simeon had said that the tree inside the Ouroboros represented hidden Gnostic knowledge. And here it was, a whole new image inside the snake. Hobbs had uncovered it, but now he was dead.
So I imagine I'm supposed to use this medallion with this, but it doesn't seem like it works. Like, this medallion doesn't even work with anything. And this doesn't work with anything. This doesn't work with anything. Let's see. Some of the items do work together, but only a few. If I was to do this with this, what's this gonna accomplish?
Just had to loosen the cap a little and...
And so, what did that do?
The mechanism was for opening and closing the skylight. It looked corroded.
Okay. Maybe I'm supposed to put this on the frame.
That was never gonna happen. That wouldn't make any sense.
Let's try this with the skylight.
That wouldn't work.
We have this frame, but...
Take a look at this. Someone's cut out a painting from this frame in a hurry. The canvas left around the frame looks just like La Malediccio.
Oh, so there was
We've
something
got the
missed.
original.
Then whoever killed Hobbs has grabbed themselves a forgery.
Ball of yarn through the skylight?
That would be pointless.
I guess I need to just move the story forward and try to leave and see what happens. Because it seems like we found everything.
We had La Malediccio, but we needed to try and figure out who killed Hobbs.
Well, how are we going to accomplish that?
Whoever did this was a professional. We need to be careful.
Let's see. Dust sheet on
That
him.
wouldn't have worked.
Fingernail
Nope.
clippers?
I needed to try something else.
Unless this medallion's magical and I can see who killed him. I have red, green, and blue paint on them. Yarn.
That wasn't worth trying.
Let's talk to Nico. Like, I'm confused. Really confused.
Nico?
There looks like there's no evidence
Yes, Josh?
of
What should we do now?
what to find.
It's pretty quiet up here. Let's take a look around.
There must be something
Hobbs probably
somewhere.
spend most of his time on there.
Let's see. Crowbar.
That
Still
wouldn't
alive.
make any sense.
Crowbar. Sofa.
That wasn't worth trying. Hobbs's sandals lay on the floor.
He's wearing shoes over here. He's wearing sandals over there. What does that mean? Like, again, if I had something like luminol, maybe the spray and you get footprints or something, that might make sense.
Apart from some old pipework, the cupboard was empty. I wouldn't like to try and clean anything in this sink.
Thankfully, I don't think you'll have to.
So, this is about the third or fourth time, I think, that we've
I'd already listened to the answer phone.
gotten to a point where we're just gonna have to ask for a hint. Like, there's obviously either a pixel or something to click on.
The skylight was slightly ajar. It was a bucket used to catch drips.
Like, I'm giving every single thought I can possibly muster here, and I've got nothing. Give me a hint, game. What do you want me to do? I found the real loud malediction, but there's more to find. There must be more to find in this room. I don't believe that. Take a look at Hobbs' pinboard. Pinboard. Oh. Well, I guess maybe I just overlooked it somehow. I looked at every single picture and just missed this. That's a problem with having so
Nico,
many different things you
come and take
can
a look at
look
this.
at on one wall.
Looks like Hobbs has been busy. A map of Catalonia, sketches and notes on the painting.
Do you think Hobbs was looking for this tabula veritatis?
I think Hobbs was a lot cleverer than he seemed.
So, let's look at everything.
It looks like a sketch of a figure from La Malediction.
I guess Hobbs was mining it for clues.
A photograph of some kind of human pyramid. It's from an article about Castel Català.
It's Catalan, I think. Catalan castle.
Hobbs linked it to his sketch of a human pyramid from the painting.
I don't see a castle on this map by that name. So it looks like we're going to go to Barcelona
It's the tree
as
from
our
the painting.
potentially
The one with all the people in it.
third
Very
and last location.
Another Ouroboros. Looks like Hobbs picked the painting apart for clues.
There must be something here that shows us where the tablet is.
Okay, so this is the human pyramid from the painting.
Look, Hobbs has highlighted Castel again.
And he connected the two. So this pyramid could be a castel.
Wow, so I'm gonna have to just look at every single thing on the map, apparently.
Town of Lampolla. Castel de Monson. I didn't really know what I was looking for, but I was sure there was a clue there somewhere. Town of Lleida. Castel de Balaguer. The city of Trent. Castel de Gurb. The town of La Seu de Geo. Castel de Montardo. Castel de Tosas. Castel de Besora. The city of Berga. Castel
I
de
can't
Rubí.
believe somebody would have voiced all of
The
this.
city of Barcelona. I knew that one at least. Castel de Galifa. Castel del Sants. I think Sants means saints.
That's what Marquez wrote on the photo.
So that would make a Castel del Sants a tower of saints.
Like in the painting. This must be the clue. I guess this pretty much ties up the investigation.
What a terrible puzzle. Just
Yep.
click on everything.
Should be enough to get Nave off my back.
In the end, it was all about money.
And greed. Medovsky wanted to sell the painting and claim the insurance.
And he didn't care how many people he killed along the way. So what now? Hand over everything to the police?
I guess so. With what we found out, Langham should have no trouble picking up Medovsky in Spain. I do wonder what that secret map points to.
You still think the evil Gnostics are behind it all?
I don't know. But I do have questions that haven't been answered.
Such as?
Well, what do those symbols on the painting mean? What was Marquez really up to? Why was the sign of the tabula
Feels like we're
Veritas hidden
finishing
under
episode
layers of
1
paint?
here.
And why is the building on fire?
And what did you say fire? We need to get out of here.
Yeah, I think you do. Here, let's see. Dust sheet on the door.
I needed a better idea.
Alright, how about dust sheet on the
That wasn't worth trying.
skylight?
The mechanism for the skylight was old and corroded.
Dust sheet
I
at the
needed
sink.
a better idea.
Yeah, we need a better idea, alright.
The skylight was slightly ajar.
I could probably boost her up into that. Let's see. Yarn with
That
dust sheet.
so didn't work.
Yarn with the skylight.
That wasn't worth trying.
Yarn with
I
this.
needed a better idea. That wouldn't have worked.
Seriously, game, you're gonna make me get a hint
Nope.
here.
I needed to try something else.
Talk to Nico.
Nico,
Yes, Josh?
any ideas?
I think we start looking for another way out, and fast.
I'm looking.
Crowbar
It would
with
have made a
yarn.
cool grappling hook, but then I realized the yarn wasn't strong enough to carry my weight.
Alright, how about this with the dust sheet? Then.
Tying the sheet to the crowbar made a halfway decent grappling hook.
So this is probably the third time I felt like we were at the end of the first episode, but I really do feel it
This should
again.
help us get out of here. After you, Nico. Terrific. Out of the fire into the frying pan.
Wait! Josh! Isn't that...
Langham. Oh, thank God. Hey, Langham!
Langham! Help! We're up here!
round here.
Why didn't he help us?
I don't know. Maybe because he started the fire. Because he wanted to kill us.
Why?
I have no idea.
You think he killed Hobbs?
Could be. Maybe Simeon too.
So who is he? And who does he really work for?
I don't know. But I do know one thing. This is not over.
George, do you hear that?
London's finest. Now you be nice to the firemen.
So what now?
Now, we go to Spain, in search of the Castel del Sans and the Tabula Veritatis. Nico and I had thought the adventure was over. Actually, we'd only just started. Nothing was what it seemed. On a trail of corruption and greed, we'd stumbled upon a murderous conspiracy. A conspiracy whose roots lay in mysteries older than the written word. We didn't really have any choice.
I wish you could get that close up on the painting outside of a cutscene and see it. So that almost certainly was the end of episode 1.
After a short flight and a long drive,
And
Nico and I
it
arrived
highlights
at
the
Castel
problems
del Sans.
of episodic
Back in
gaming
London, we tracked down
and
London
releases
Seal, and it started to unravel its secrets.
so badly.
The
So
painting
bad.
was a coded map to the location of the Tabula Veritatis.
So you might as well have just started the game here.
Father Simeon had claimed could raise the devil. for
Like,
which he and others
maybe a cutscene would have been all you needed to get to this
We
point
had
in
to
the
find
game.
the tabula before the killers. We knew they would stop at nothing.
And it also tells you that the first episode only had however many scenes we saw, like 2 locations of
Let's just hope we got here
London
before the
and
bad guys.
France.
Seems quiet enough.
Barely a dozen at most scenes, many of which had very little of important in them.
Once upon a time. You think the tabula is really going to be here?
Somewhere, if we can just decode the painting.
Again, in the darkness, they look more 2D than 3D.
It looks deserted.
The shading and shadowing that happens in this game is very odd.
Deserted? I don't think so.
Did you
It's
see
just
who it
not
was?
a well-developed
No.
lighting
the sun was in
engine.
my eyes.
Looks like somebody's beating us to it.
But who? Medovsky?
Langham?
Whoever it is, we need to get in there.
All right. You make a diversion. I'll try and reach some cover.
This is an odd way to
Be
start the
careful.
game.
Are you kidding?
Well, to
You're
start
one
the
who's
second
going to get
episode.
shot.
And see, she starts with a mop that we saw her put the mop in her pocket, but we didn't, as the player in control, actually interact with the mop.
Parts of the wall had fallen down.
So, mop with the
That
rubble.
wouldn't happen. The mountains made a magnificent backdrop. Shame the place was left to fall apart.
So the weird thing here is I have to make a pretty big assumption, but I think that Revolution Software, the creator of the Broken Sword series, intentionally made episode 1 and probably had done all of episode 1 before they even started their Kickstarter as simply a tease and a bid to get funding to make a completely different, separate section of the game. I mean, they started production, it feels like, planning on having 2 parts to a point-and-click adventure, which is probably the worst decision you could ever make in developing a game. An adventure, something based on story, should be integrated. And point and click adventures things should be integrated very well. This doesn't feel like this at all. It feels like it feels I could see having acts in your game, but it feels like we're going to be in completely different places. We're probably going to use completely different items. Maybe they'll get lazy and have us reuse the same items over and over again, considering George does have a lot of extra things.
Hope this works. Are you ready?
Can't wait.
But we may find that George's inventory is kind of empty too. Hey, here's the goat puzzle again.
Oh no.
Of course, in the
I made
remastered
it without
version.
getting shot, but I sure didn't feel lucky. Somehow I had to distract the shooter again, and this time I was on my own.
And see, this doesn't feel
With a
like.
ghost from the past giving me an evil stare.
So, apricot tree.
Oh, heck. Ow!
So, in the remastered version, the goat puzzle was really easy. So, I don't really remember.
The goat had eaten Hobbs' carefully crafted provenance.
Interesting.
Now then, old fella, you don't mind if I move your tire, do ya?
So, we've got this guy over here shooting at me while I'm doing this. And so the provenance just got eaten. Flowers with the tree.
That was never going to work. A pile of old brandy bottles had been discarded behind the car. A pile of apples had just been laid on a sheet, just out of the goat's reach.
Yarn on the apples.
Wouldn't make any sense.
Yarn on the apple
That
tree.
wouldn't work.
And so if I just keep doing this, will he eat something else?
Oh, heck. Ow! You, hey, thief. The goat had eaten Nico's rejected photograph.
Interesting. And see, I feel like there actually isn't a solution here. I think that this
The crumbling fountain wouldn't provide me with any cover.
is probably just a puzzle designed to get me to lose all my items. Which tells me that
Heck.
just reinforces my thought that this is a separate game, really. This is the $800,000 of Kickstarted and PayPal money. Well, he didn't need anything that time. Interesting, so. Paperclip with this.
It didn't work.
Cockroach with the goat. Cookie with the goat.
I needed the cookie to feed Trevor.
I was gonna feed Trevor to the goat.
Couldn't let the goat eat Trevor.
Just spray it. Spray the
Call
goat.
me a hoarder, but I wasn't giving that to the goat.
Phone Nico.
My phone had no service. I couldn't make calls.
Fire.
Nope, I wanted to keep the matches. I only had a few matches. Using one now probably wasn't a good idea.
Can't set the tree on fire.
Wouldn't make any sense.
And we tried
That
this.
wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't work.
Flowers to the goat.
Look what I got for you, little fella.
So he eats that.
Call me a hoarder, but I wasn't giving that to the goat. Call me a hoarder, but I wasn't giving that to the goat.
So we've given 3 different things to the goat.
Call me a hoarder, but I wasn't giving that to the goat. Call me a hoarder, but I wasn't giving that to the goat. Call me a hoarder, but I wasn't giving that to the goat.
So I've tried everything. And unless there's...
That wasn't quite right.
It's severely limited us down
That
to
so didn't
a few items that we can interact with, and then this second group of items that are all actual hints or useful things towards the investigation, which is just starting now again. Oh, this is so irritating to really waste all of this time, and that's all it can feel like. It feels like a major waste of time up to this point, playing a game that I've not really enjoyed. And we're at 53% done. The game's been running for 98 hours and 51 minutes. I certainly haven't been playing that long, but sometimes it feels like that. Yeah, and we just have to start over. That first episode could have been left on the cutting room floor. You could have chopped up some of the puzzles for how few there were, chopped up some of the interactions, moved around some scenes, and maybe you could have used a few parts of the first episode, but I don't even know if there was actually even an hour worth of entertainment there to have. Anyways, we've been going 30 minutes. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good